I'm a business solicitor, and I've seen a lot of new business owners make costly mistakes when it comes to their legal affairs. Regardless of the fact that business laws are extremely complex, business owners are still expected to know about them and follow them properly. So in this video, we'll discuss the top 3 legal steps that you should take before starting your business. Make sure to stay until the end of the video to find out the top 3 laws that you should be aware of to avoid legal issues once you started your business. If you're new, I'm Malcolm Zoppi, an English qualified solicitor, and I help UK SMEs with their corporate and commercial legal needs. Now, before we get started with the 3 main steps that I believe a business owner should at least consider taking, let me just preface this video by stating that obviously this video cannot be absolutely comprehensive of every single law that exists in the UK and that you need to be aware of to comply and avoid legal issues. In short, these are my top 3 things that I would do if starting over and I was limited to only 3 things that I need to get in place before I start trading and dealing with clients. Great, having said that, let's get started. So the first thing that I would do is I would set up a limited company. I would be the director and the shareholder of that company, and I would run my business through that limited company. And the reason why I would go through a limited company and form that entity is because it's recognized under the eyes of the law as a separate legal person. And that means that, in short, my personal assets, my house, my car, are not at risk when trading and dealing with clients. So if a client, for example, sues the limited company and the limited company doesn't have enough money to pay the client, then it doesn't mean that my house now needs to be sold to pay that client. Instead, the company would just go under and my personal assets are instead ring-fenced and out of the way. Of course, with setting up a limited company doesn't mean that you can be a cowboy, that you shouldn't get insurance in place, and that you shouldn't deliver an excellent service. For obvious reasons, you should, but at least the limited company separates your personal assets from your business and that risk that is carried when dealing with third parties, and you have more peace of mind. The second main thing that I would do when starting a new business would be to register my trademark with the UK Intellectual Property Office. Now, you could simply do this yourself. You could go on the UK IPO website and submit an application, but oftentimes you run the risk of, for example, being opposed against and therefore enter into proceedings with people who are opposing your application, or lose your IPO fees if, for example, your application is not compliant with the relevant legislation. Now, the main reason why you should have a registered trademark is so that you have the exclusive right to use your brand name in your business or industry. Now, keep in mind that word marks, so trademarks that you only apply for using letters, for example, your brand name, are harder to secure, but at the same time will give you more rights over that specific brand name. Separately, if instead you were to apply for a logo mark, so that's typically an image, a logo that has some kind of stylistic element to it, but nonetheless has your brand's name in the logo, then your chances of securing a registered trademark are higher, but your rights could be a little bit more limited. In an ideal world, you would apply for as many trademarks as possible, so long as they are your trademarks, you intend on using them, so that you have as much intellectual property as possible. The third main thing that I would do when starting a new business would be to get my terms of business in place. So these are, for example, your terms of service, or terms and conditions for the sale of products. And the aim here is to protect your business and minimize the risks of legal claims being brought against your company. You should see your terms of business as the rules that have been agreed upon by your company and your clients. And since you are able to draft and decide what those rules should be, you have a unique opportunity to pretty much control how your relationship with your clients is to be seen. Now, I often see new business owners simply copy terms and conditions from a competitor's website and therefore commit a copyright infringement for which they're often sued, or instead simply download some cheap template from the internet. What needs to be kept in mind is that very often, of course, these documents cannot be bespoke to their unique business. And because they're not bespoke, they don't properly protect that unique business offering. Additionally, oftentimes we see clients fall into legal traps. So, for example, we had one client who wanted to sell data and had started drafting their own document, and they just wanted us to give it a quick review. And in their contract, they specified that they were selling data. Now, in colloquial terms, so in a conversation, you could talk about businesses that sell data and make a profit out of it. But if using that term in a legal contract, and that contract is a legally binding agreement, then typically when you sell something, you give exclusive possession over that thing that you sold. So that means that once you sold data to a third party, then you cannot resell that same data to other people, which is exactly the opposite of what my client intended to do. They wanted to gather data and then continuously license this information to multiple people. So give access to multiple people to that data, usually on a subscription basis. Thankfully, we spotted this and we had to completely redraft a brand new set of terms and conditions to properly reflect their unique business. But if they didn't come to us and we didn't draft a new contract, then very likely their entire business would have been in deep legal issues. Now, if you want to avoid legal issues and you want to properly protect your business, feel free to reach out for a free legal advice call. I have my contact details below. So what are the top 3 laws that I believe you should be aware of when running a business? In short, it's the UK GDPR, the Companies Act 2006, and the Finance Act 2004. But to learn about these, watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.